Here is today's financial tip from Lasco Financial Services. Know the difference between wants and needs. If the item needed doesn't fit comfortably into your budget, set it aside until you are able to purchase.
All right, boy. So I just said to the doctor that whenever I see Sim Sim, my heart races, which is true. What I'm saying is the salt. Morning, my friend.
Morning, Neville. Actually, what I said was, you salt.
All right, let's get serious here. What's cardiac arrhythmias, and what should you do when it's happening to you? We have a heart consultant. He's a consultant cardiologist at University of the West Indies Hospital, Dr. Mark Hussain. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Neville.
What I just said?
You're asking me about arrhythmias and what to do. So basically, an arrhythmia is an irregular heartbeat. It can be either because your heart is going too slow, or it can be because your heart is going too fast. Most people throughout their lifetime do feel some kind of irregularity of the heart, maybe an extra beat, which is not necessarily dangerous. So not everything that you may feel as what most people describe as a palpitation is necessarily dangerous. If you feel one or two, that might not be significant, but definitely if you have a very prolonged run, so if it's going on for a very long time, especially if it's associated with chest pain or shortness of breath or fainting, then those should definitely be addressed.
There are reasons that would slow it down and reasons that would quicken it?
Yes. So there are many different reasons for both of those things. Things like drugs can cause your heart to be slow. It can be part of the aging process where certain electrical parts of your heart no longer work, or it may be something you're born with the fast beating of the heart.
Could be my love for Sim.
It could be your love, yes, absolutely. Yeah. But also other things, other types of diseases that can cause changes in your heart.
Okay.
Structural changes in your heart can put you at risk of having these irregular heartbeats or arrhythmias.
Go back to the age one, since I am there already. It's just because you're older it would happen, or because you're older it causes other things?
So it's a combination of factors. So aging in and of itself is a risk factor. What we call a non-modifiable risk factor. So there's not much you can do about aging. It happens with everybody. And the process of aging does cause certain structural changes in your heart. But there are also other diseases that are potentially modifiable that we can change that also put us at risk of having these arrhythmias. Things like hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes. A lot of these lifestyle diseases or non-communicable diseases are associated with certain types of arrhythmias.
Yeah. What came up just now, it said arrhythmias and stroke.
Yes.
Two different things.
Yes. So this week is about arrhythmias and stroke. More specifically, atrial fibrillation, which is a type of irregular heart rate. Atrial fibrillation, which is a type of irregular heartbeat, and that puts people who have it at a higher risk of stroke because it promotes clot formation in the heart, and then when that clot forms, sometimes it breaks off, goes downstream, and downstream can mean your brain. So when it lodges in the brain, it prevents further blood flow. That part of the brain doesn't get enough oxygen, and it dies, and that's what we see as a stroke.
Yeah. You said slow or fast, because I'm not really feeling a heartbeat. How do I know if it slows down? Is there a feeling that I get?
Well, it depends, because many people have a heart rate that is sometimes slower than what is considered normal. And that is not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily pathological. So some people, especially athletes, may have a very slow heart rate, and that is because of their training. Their hearts are now more efficient. But there are other people who can have slow heartbeats because of pathology, bad things happening to the heart. Usually those people, they have very low energy, they can have fainting, sometimes they can get short of breath, sometimes they may also get chest pain.
You said it's not a bad thing with athletes.
Right.
Does that mean that the fitter I am, the slower it should be?
With many athletes, especially athletes in peak condition, we do see a lot of very slow heartbeats, which is also known as a bradycardia.
But that's not dangerous.
It's not dangerous.
So then why is it dangerous if the average Joe has a slow heart?
Well, it depends on how slow it is. Usually if it's above 40, we may just monitor it. But if you're awake and your heart rate is below 40, then that is definitely something that needs to be looked into.
Can I see the sign of a stroke? Could I tell someone?
Sure. Sure. With signs of a stroke, it may be because of weakness, usually of one side of the body. It can be difficulty with speech, difficulty with swallowing. It can be loss of consciousness, going into a coma. It can also be you can also see unbalance or even difficulty finding words.
Oh, okay. I don't know if this is, I was going to say, it is Cardiovascular Week.
Yes.
And you have a symposium.
Yes, so there are a number of feature events this week. We actually have a fundraiser tomorrow evening. It's a boat cruise. We're taking the Caribbean Queen. Boarding is at 5:30 and tickets are available from the cardiology unit and the Department of Medicine. It's a little bit closer than Negril, as other people may be traveling out of town for rum and reggae. But it's a little bit closer.
Where your boat going down?
It's a tour around the harbor. So it's a 4-hour cruise. We're boarding at 5:30. Food and non-inclusive drinks included. The other feature of the week is our symposium, which is this Friday, which is at the main medical lecture theatre, which is at the University Hospital. We'll be talking, our theme, as I've said before, the atrial fibrillation and stroke. We'll have a number of speakers, which will include other cardiologists, pediatric cardiologists, neurologists, as well as cardiac surgeons to give talks about a number of different aspects of these conditions.
And do you want just medical folk to
No,
be there?
anybody is welcome. Everybody is welcome.
There's a cost?
There is a cost. So for doctors, it's $2,500. For nurses and other paramedical people, so which includes medical residents, physiotherapists, radiographers, etc. The price is $1,000.
Do they get, what do you call, credits for these things?
Yes, so we get three hours of continuous medical education credits will be awarded to the attendees.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Okay, so it's Cardiovascular Week, and there's a symposium, atrial fibrillation and stroke.
Well done.
I got that right.
You got it. You got it, Neville.
Where do we really have too much saltness around here? Where do we go?
Well, for your kind of salt, Neville, I think St. Thomas might be a useful option.
You're not working with me. Dr. Mark, you're not working with me at all. Good to see you, my friend.
Always a pleasure.
Consultant cardiologist at UHWI, Dr. Marcos. It was kind of strange because when I looked at the paper, the C dropped off.
Oh, no.
So I was going to say you have an cardiologist. For some reason, I never think that didn't make any sense. All right, folks, Reggae Month. We give you the facts after the break. Stay with us, please.